Hello, this is Karen Evla from FashionStepByStep.com, and this video is part of the course Watercolors for Fashion Illustration. Today we're going to see the materials I use to create my fashion illustrations with watercolors. Let's take a look at the basic tools. The first thing I use is a pencil. I really like pencils 2H and 4H, and sometimes I use HB. As a basic tool, I also have an eraser, a sharpener, transparent and regular tape, masking tape, and craft tape. I use the last two to mask and stretch my paper. I also use a cardboard or a board as a surface to put my paper on. I use watercolor paper, of course. I really like to use loose sheets. I have them just like this. As you can see, they are loose. And I also have them gummed on one side, like this. Then I cut on the side where is the gum, and I can use them as regular loose sheets. The thickness of the paper can vary depending on the brand of the paper or the blocks that you are purchasing, but my favorite is 240 grams per square meter. Another basic tool is water. You can use a dish from the kitchen, a plastic container, or a sprayer to supply your watercolors with water. Now let's see the coloring tools. The most important is watercolors. There are different brands and each of them offer different features. My very favorite is Winsor & Newton, but I also use pretty often the brand Reeves. And for the rest of this course, I will be using the brand Reeves because I want to show you that you can create beautiful illustrations and beautiful work even if you are on a budget. So this is the set I use. It comes with 18 different watercolor tubes. It is very versatile and I really like it. Alright, now the brushes. My favorite brushes are round. I don't have any specific brand that I use for brushes. I just buy what I like and I use it until it gets damaged or I lose it or whatever. Other brushes that I use are flat brushes. I don't use them pretty often as the round brushes, but I like to use them with several fabric textures and also to create the eyebrows. And finally, also for brushes, I use these couple of brushes with different shapes. One of them is flat, but it has a round shape on the top, and another has a fun kind of shape. Other tools are the mixing palettes. These are my favorite. These circular mixing palettes that have several tiny circles around, so you can mix any kind of color that you want. But I also like and really like to use the dishes of my kitchen. This is one dish, clean and clear, and this is another one that I use to mix my colors. Actually, you can use whatever you want and whatever you have near to you. If you have a paper dish, you can use it if you want. And now let's see some optional tools. As I said, these tools are optional. You can purchase them and use them if you want, or you can even find some other tools that you can use optionally. For me, well, I use brush pens. These brush pens are from the brand Tombow, and I love them because they have two tips. One tip is really fine and thin, and the other tip has the shape of a brush. That's what I like to use when I use them, the brush tip. Then I also use fine liners. These are from the brand Stadler. They are tri-plus fine liners, and I have a set that comes with 20 different colors. I also use ink pens. one of my favorites is this one, also from Staedtler, and it is the finest and thinnest ink pen that I've ever found. Another optional tool is white acrylic. I really like to use white acrylic, especially on the bright of the eyes, and sometimes when I mess up with the watercolor illustration, I use the white acrylic to correct the little mistakes. Paper towel is another material. I use them to clean my brushes, to remove the excess of water and color, and also to lift off some color from the illustrations. Another tool is a hot air gun or a hair dryer. I use it especially to stretch my paper. You will see how to use it on the next video. I also use scissors and a ruler. Alright, those are the tools and materials that I use to create my fashion illustrations with watercolors. And now, guess what? It's your turn. So download today's materials, make note of the tools and materials that you need, and purchase the materials that you don't have. Do you want access to some free and exclusive videos and lessons to getting started with watercolors? If yes, then click the link below. See you on the next video. Bye!